chicken butt. Hello from the other side. The side of, I don't know, literature and world, I guess, where we just kind of slightly frown upon cannibalism. At least that's what they do in this lovely, incoherent piece of writing that is written in red by Anne Bishop. I got this book on, oh, by the way, this is my dog, Kirusha. As a round of applause for how beautifully she's sitting. Thank you. Yeah, so written in red. I actually read this book or listened to it on audiobook, and just a fun fact, I downloaded it not knowing what it was. It was recommended to me and I downloaded it just because. And when you listen to an audiobook, it says, you play it and it says written title, written by, read by somebody else. And this book, I played it and it said written and read by Anne Bishop, read by somebody else. And I was like, if it's written and read by Anne Bishop, who is that second person? And it took me a second to catch on that the title of this book is actually written in red. I didn't even know what I was downloading, I didn't even know what title of the book was. I was just told to download this and I didn't remember. Never mind. So, let's get to a slight summary. By the way, possibly all the spoilers, like millions of spoilers, but it's not a recommendation. I don't want you to read this. I'm telling you this stuff so that you don't have to read this. So this book takes place it's an urban fantasy, I'd say. It takes place in a world where humans and others exist. I wouldn't say coexist, and I'll get back to that. Others are split into different categories, but essentially there are like elementals who are the strongest godlike beings, as well as vampires and like where different creatures, where wolves, where hawks, where whatever. And there are humans, some of which are Cassandra Sangues, meaning blood prophets. Hey, excuse me. Siadamy. Some of them are blood prophets, meaning that they are humans, but when they cut their skin, they can induce a vision of future, even on a specific subjects. And those humans are kept where they are enslaved and kept in complexes with other Cassandra Sangues, where they are isolated and kept as helpless as possible. No. Niet. Nie wolno. Little booger, you cannot. Where they are kept just isolated and as naive and not ready for life as possible, but also they never leave these complexes. And the plot of the book follows a Cassandra Sangue called Meg, who escapes her prison and then finds, I guess you can say, shelter in this experimental courtyard of Lakeside, where I know, where humans and others both live. Now, what's the problem? The problem is, in this world, others are very firmly at the top of the food chain, and since they are at the top of the food chain, they consume everybody and everything else which is below them, including humans. And it's not like a once in a blue moon occurrence. The book, like the others are free to kill and eat a human at the drop of a hat at any point, any place, any time if they want to. There are in certain places certain laws in place which are meant to keep like balance, so that people aren't really killed unless they do something wrong. But if we're talking about the territory belonging to others, or if humans break any law, even a law such as don't walk through this park after 7:05, you walk through this park, you will most likely get eaten. Just, okay, like this book could work, but only if you can suspend your disbelief and accept that the others are essentially always in the right. You always are meant to, stop it. You're always meant to take the side of the others. Also, you have to accept that it's like eating humans for any reason at any point in time is an okay thing to do because the others are in the right. Well, yeah, you have to accept that humans are just worse. They are lesser. Oh yeah, and you have to also take into account that some of the others want to boink humans despite seeing them as food. Like some of them, it's a niche interest. However, when it comes to humans, you have to accept that they are bad. All of them, they are bad or they are worse. They are also in the wrong for occupying any space because all of the world belongs to others. So humans are evil just by virtue of wanting to occupy space in this particular world. So humans are in the wrong for not wanting to be subjugated, and essentially most humans want to boink others despite knowing the risks that they will get eaten, which is like 99%. Okay, so going back to the plot of our book, the plot takes place in this lakeside courtyard, which is made to be an experiment because the people are meant to coexist, kind of, with the others. But the thing is, and the lakeside consists of like blocks of flats where the others live, and in the courtyard itself there are different stores. But there's a doctor, but only one that takes care of the others. There is a butcher's store which sells all sorts of meat, including we're told that the others, that's like a side tangent, but we're told that the others aren't very particular about their meat. They say that all meat is meat except for human, which they distinct as special meat. But they do call humans monkeys because we are smart meat, we are thinking meat. So yeah, in some of those places, there's also like a gym, a cafe, a cafeteria, and a bookstore where the other main character lives. Excuse me? So, you have this lakeside with these different sorts of establishments, and humans are not allowed to live there actually, but there's like this, there are some rooms where people can go and boink each other, or supposedly some of the others. Kirusia, puść to. Puściane. Stop. Just stop. Okay. Yeah, so there are those rooms which are designated specifically for boinking. And the boss of this lakeside courtyard is Simon, who is a werewolf. He also has a tiny nephew. Never mind. And the boss of this whole place is Simon, who's a werewolf. Stop it. Push. Yeah. So Simon is the boss, and Simon employs our dear Meg as a liaison. But she's called liaison because she's a liaison between humans and others, but her actual job is being the post person. She just delivers packages. That's her actual job. And let me just get to the critiques that I actually have of this book. So my first point is that it's clear to me that I am meant... Puść, przestań, puść.
You're a bad person. Bad person.
Czekaj. Zaraz ci dam coś. Proszę. So let's get into my criticism. The first one is, as I said, the book can only work if I believe that humans are in the wrong. And it is clear to me that the author and Bishop wanted me to believe that. However, she fails to establish humans as villains. There are some villains in this book, and most of them are humans. Actually, there are two villains in this book. There are the owners of Meg who want to get her back, and this chick named Asia, who I will go back to probably at some point in this video. So let's put a pin in Asia for a second. Apart from those two groups of people, groups being the bad guys and Asia, all the other humans are good people. We have Meg, who is of course beyond reproach, for she is the main character. There are also some other people who work like in the bookstore, I think, and the cafe. There's also the police, most of who actually want like the two species to coexist, and and like shop owners and people like that, they are all good or neutral people. And also at every page of every book, I am constantly being reminded that like human can die for any reason. They can always be eaten, and it won't be a bad thing. If too many of them would be eaten, then I guess there would be a war, which nobody would want. But at the heart of it, is that the only reason why the others aren't consuming, humans as prey all the time, the only reason for that is that they just can't be arsed to fight in a war, and they want to prevent a war because it would be an inconvenience. But there is no doubt that they would win because, side tangent, the origins of the world were that the others were here first, then humans arrived, and humans wanted to take up some space to set up a city, but the others were like, no, humans bad, and they ate them. So some other humans set up another city, and they were like, oh no, humans bad, and they ate them. But then humans made like, I don't know, fire or I guess horse carts, which could be pulled, I don't know, like minor convenient tools. And because of that, because they either can't, it's not clear, but like others presumably cannot manufacture that kind of technology, so they allowed humans to occupy space, provided that they had access to different tools that the humans would sell them. Okay, so here we go. First reason why I dislike the book is that I just cannot get on with the reasoning that humans are evil, because they aren't portrayed as evil. And the second one is that cannibalism, like eating humans, cannot be done in a sustainable way. And what I mean by that is, if you get media with vampires, like if the vampires come out in the open, there is a point at which humans and vampires, like, I don't know, bond in pairs, and humans allow vampires to eat, or I don't know. My point is, vampires drink blood, and humans can like give blood and still be alive. But if you want to like consume a liver, a leg, or I don't know, like a forearm, then it won't grow back. And that kind of is not conducive to forming a symbiotic or like a balanced relationship. Especially since the others all really, really want to consume us. Like, we're like a treat to them. Like beef, maybe, I don't know, like some kind of expensive meat. And only expensive because they cannot eat too much of humans, because again, war would be a hassle. The third one is that at no point in the book do others consider any humans actually inedible. They don't make any sort of distinction. There are humans which are like tolerated, but at the drop of a hat and any minor mistake, they can be eaten. Maybe they will be like, sent to jail, but most likely, or likely at least, they will be eaten. Even our Meg is not actually seen as something more than human, or something like actually worthy of respect. she is treated like a toy by many. Oh yeah, I remember now. Spoiler. Meg cannot be eaten because her blood makes people crazy. So again, they would actually eat her, only their instincts are making them not do it because they would go crazy, not because she's like better or they are making a conscious choice to. Like, all humans can be eaten in this lovely book, which by the way, I've been told is set up for romance in later books, which is like, I can eat. Of course, romance between the others and our Meg. Okay, my fourth complaint is, supposedly most, if not all humans, I don't know, most humans, or a ton of humans at least, want to boink others. There are actually even romance books that, are about boinking others. But my point is, how come that is a popular thing if being eaten is a, like, I guess if like being, I don't know, like vor was established as a particularly popular kink in this world, then the whole setup would make sense. But it's not. So why are people actually wanting to sleep with the others so badly? Why? I mean, I guess the thrill of danger, but it's different if you kind of like. For example, there are books where female characters want to be with like mafiosos or like very dangerous mercenaries, because of the thrill of danger. But like mercenary or a mafioso like might kill you, and but most likely won't because you're boinking. And on the other hand, the other will constantly be salivating over you and wanting to like eat your leg, and most likely will do it mid-coitus. So where's the logic? Okay, and the fifth one is just like, let's go, like, this cannibalism thing is so incoherently made. Let me just go to a media which, like, okay, like, cannibalism bad, let's be clear, of course, at every point, but let's take, for example, the Hannibal TV show. Hannibal is a cannibal, and he eats people. But the thing is, we get a glimpse, or we are made to understood how he chooses people that he will eat. And essentially, for him, or people, presumably including himself, though he is a bit narcissistic, so maybe sees himself as a godlike figure, it's the difference between people and meat people is that people are like, with their mind prowess and their, like, I don't know, goodness or whatever, they are worthy. But if you do any perceived slight to Hannibal, then you become meat. So you get like, you might not be able to judge by yourself whether that person will be somebody that Hannibal will consider edible, but you know that there is a certain logic behind his choice of victims. And because also of this logical system, you get how he can want and is able to sustain relationships between different humans, and even, spoiler, at some point fall in love and end up in this homoerotic relationship with the detective Will. I think we can all assume that it was a relationship that they ended up with. I don't know if they died or not, but like the cannibalism in Hannibal is coherent and makes sense. And we also love to be like scared and dislike Hannibal and be like angry about it. But here we're kind of, by the setup of the book, we're meant to think that cannibalism is like okay, and we shouldn't really mind it. Which what? Now, point 6. Let's go back to this Asia character that we put a pin in like a couple of points before. Asia is a villain, and her motivation for doing evil stuff is that she will be rewarded by a career in film industry. And the actual point I'm trying to make, there is a film industry in this in this universe, and I have a bit of a problem with that because, well, movie making is a rather complicated and long process, and my point is how is anything complex meant to occur in this world if at any point if somebody makes a wrong step he will be killed? Like, what's the kill count of average movie? Are people really that desperate to star in movies that they, because I'm thinking there aren't any details mentioned on how the cinema is able to function in this world, and I'm like, aren't there any restrictions placed by others? Are like what is the job of an actor like in a world where there surely are like different rules that you have to abide by, which the others enforce, or you will be eaten? My point is, let's say it's an action movie. It cannot take place in a forest, any kind of forest, because all the forests belong to others. So it can only take place in like parks and I guess indoors or outdoors in a city, but only a city belonging only to humans. And even then, there can't be any scenes in like waters or lakes, because waters or lakes are governed by the others. I suppose there can't be even any fires or stuff like that, because there are those elemental others who are in charge of fires. So how does any movie get made? How is my question. And the seventh question, to like wrap things up, is there is this courtyard which I mentioned where everything takes place. Why expand the effort? Why would others, because it was others' idea, expand the effort to coexist with humans? And like, what incentive do humans have to work there? Is the pay better? No, not really, because all the prices are like, it's a mimic of a normal human town, but humans, as I said, are not allowed to actually live there. They have only like limited amount of spaces in the gym that they can frequent. They cannot go to the doctors. They most likely don't go to the butchers because there are human parts sold there. And they can only, I guess, work at the cafeteria and the bookstore. And are people that horny for books that they would go to a bookstore which is owned by a person who can kill you if you don't put the book back in the right place? Or actually, the official punishment for like stealing a book or something like that is losing a limb. The second offense is death. Why would people ever frequent that kind of bookstore? Is the coffee in the coffee shop that delicious that they go there? It makes virtually no sense. And first and foremost, why would others actually want to integrate with smart meat but not actually integrate? They want, I don't know, they want to learn how to mimic humans better. It might be explained in further books. I am not sure. I think I actually barely spoiled anything, so feel free to read the book if you want to. I actually, because my roommate loves them, I have access to all the books in the series and most likely will read part 2. So if this is interesting to people, I might do a review on it. If not, I will just read it and weep about how bad it is, just for myself in the privacy of my own room. I think that's all that I wanted to say. Let me know what you think about this book. If you want to read it, if you have read it, then I am particularly interested. And also, if you like my beautiful pupo, then you can check out my Tuesdays videos, because they are about dogs and sometimes about her, I guess. The next one will be out on the next Tuesday. If you like this sort of content, maybe consider subscribing. I will post videos about books and movies and stuff like that every week. I also do weekly posts of films about dogs, where films about dogs. The next one will be about adopting a dog from shelter. The next one will be about adopting a purebred dog. Also, there are links to all my social media, such as Reddit, Twitch, Goodreads, and Instagram in the description box. I am everycraft on everywhere, and there is also a link to Kira's very homely Instagram in the description box as well. I hope you had fun, that I cheered you up or something, or maybe that I encouraged you to read this interesting, very kinky book, yeah, just let me know, and see you later maybe. Bye bye.